Well, people who own property in Montgomery County may have some concerns after property value reassessments were mailed out. Joining us now in studio is Montgomery County Board of Supervisors member, Ms. Sherry Blevins. Good morning. How are you feeling?
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for having me on this morning.
Thank you. Thank you. So talk to us about those growing concerns that y'all are seeing in Montgomery County.
Sure. So reassessment notices were received in November of 2022. And of course, they are higher than the last reassessment. So
yes, ma'am.
There are growing concerns with our citizens. Well, first of all, we want to remind folks that those notices are not the actual tax bill.
Yes, ma'am.
And the rate that is shown is for the previous rate, which is required by state law, and that is not the current tax rate. The Board of Supervisors will be discussing that tax rate, and it hasn't been decided with this upcoming budget process.
And so property taxes went up, but can you explain the reason why some folks did see that reassessment go up?
So on an average, Montgomery properties are seeing an average of 30% increase from the last reassessment. Factors that are contributing to that is, first of all, Montgomery County is growing. We have a population of over 102,000, so people are migrating this area. High inflation and a demand and supply need. There is a housing shortage, and after the pandemic, we've seen how hot the housing market was. So all those factors together are a reason for the increase. And again, there hasn't been an assessment since 2018.
Oh, wow. So pretty much we're playing catch up in certain aspects.
Yes, sir.
And so what is the Board of Supervisors' role as far as with the property tax reassessment and as far as the taxes for this upcoming fiscal year?
Sure. So first of all, there are two parts to that tax bill equation. The first part is that reassessed value. So reassessment is the process of determining the value of the land and property for tax purposes. That is by law required for a county of our size to be done at least once every 4 years.
Okay.
That is not something that the Board of Supervisors set. That is determined by the fair market value, current fair market value. And that is performed by a private independent third party appraisal group.
Yes, ma'am.
The second part of that, so that's the first part of the equation, is the reassessed value.
Okay.
Then comes the Board of Supervisors, and that's the second part where it's our to set and adopt the real estate tax rate.
Okay.
Okay. And so we're in the process of beginning that budget season.
I was going to ask you that.
And so that tax rate has not been set. So what's confusing is that the rate that's is an estimate on those notices is from the previous year, the current, which is required. But that tax rate has not been set yet. So that notice is not yet a bill.
Gotcha. When ideally would residents in Montgomery County could potentially get that notification? Is it late April, May, June? When will people start to see that?
So the board will first need to set that tax rate. And so, and then we will need to approve the budget. And then from there, citizens would be receiving their actual tax bill. So as we go into the tax season, we will be looking at those for that tax rate. So the board will decide that as we move through, and we're listening to the concerns of our citizens. So as we work through the tax rate process,
yes, ma'am.
The process will be, first of all, by state code, we're retention of only 1% of that reassessed value. And then from there, there is a tax revenue neutral rate that will be calculated.
So we have a lot going on. Before we do go, we have 15 seconds left. What can people do if they feel that their property reassessment notice is inaccurate?
Well, property owners have had the ability to appeal. So we received in December about 2,500 informal appeals.
Okay.
And starting next week, the Board of Equalization will hear 250 formal appeals through the end of March. Citizens will also have an opportunity to speak at public hearings that we'll have through the budget season. And also during any regular board meeting, during public address, citizens can make comments, and always they can reach out to any board members through email and phone. We are here to serve our citizens, and we want them to know that we understand their concerns and we're working hard for them.
All right. Well, thank you, Montgomery County Board of Supervisor member Ms. Sherry Blevins. Thank you for being here this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you, sir.